Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we are looking down there because they're down there again, and you can't see them, so why am I saying it? We're looking at some 28mm resin Avonpost 30-year war figures. I am painting them, let's just get this out there, I'm painting them as a commission for Mezza at Mezzers Minis, or Mezza, Carl. I'm painting them for him as a commission. But I'm showing them as I would do any other commission. He's not asked me to make videos, he's not asked me to push his name forward. I intend to, because not only do I think he's a really fair bloke, I also think that Avonpost figures are top notch. So I've shown obviously other figures that I've purchased myself from Mez, because he's the UK supplier, and he's also a very patient guy. I know I told him these would have to float in and out of my main commission work, but even I wasn't expecting to be floating along this long. Anyway, going down to the bench in a minute. Noise in the background is my pup Archie clipper cloppering around. Apologise, he gets the run of most of the house. Yeah, we've got 4 mounted figures and a couple of foot figures that I've completed over the weekend, and another 3 that are partially completed. And I believe I've got, wait a minute while Gav counts, not always an easy thing. Yeah, I've got 3 left to do. 2 more are going to just be normally painted behind the scenes, but the last one I'm going to try, and I've been practicing trying to do videos where I do a voiceover or even just some text, you know. I'm trying it on my model build at the moment, and it is horrendous. I don't think guys that you know, you sometimes get people saying, Gav, you talk too much. You don't often see those things because they just go into the ether. But, you know, you talk too much, or you do too many videos. Your videos are rubbish. We all get them. But your average bods out there don't realise, if you don't do these things, how much time and effort it does actually take even to do a low-level videos that I do. So I've been trying in the background, and at the moment I've just been having another go. I've tried putting voiceover on, just to even, I've been trying to watch how to do voiceovers on, you know, just on a computer, on YouTube, and they keep doing PowerPoint. Well, as far as I'm aware, I'm not doing PowerPoint. The problem is, for me, is left school just as computers were really coming in. We didn't have a computer class or anything at school, not that I know of, and I've spent a lifetime working in work that never needed a computer, and I just don't enjoy that type of stuff. So I'm really, and obviously I've got mental health problems, so it's really difficult to try and grasp technology, but I want to do better videos. I'm not trying to be a night shift or a Serestro. I'll leave it to those guys to take on the universe. But I just want to give a better product. As I've said to you guys, yes, I'm rambling now. Shouldn't be. It's looking at Mezzy's figures, but I'm just saying, I would like to be, you know, just build up in increments, just that bit better, you know. So I've been last night and today trying to do voiceovers. I found the microphone. I couldn't see where I could see my video and the microphone, so I had to switch the microphone on, then rush to the video, talk on it, and nothing's stopping on the. And when I put it down to the video, when it says, I'm trying to look, I've gone now anyway, you know, custom audio, doesn't stick on the video. You know, it says done. You press the done, nothing. So I thought, oh, stuff this. I'm just gonna have to put. I'll do a text, just a few lines on each. I've just spent half an hour tipper-tapping out, and nothing. You know, nothing's saved. Nothing's. What do you do? Yeah. So you know, with all the criticism, just remember that people are trying to be better at giving you better videos, and if you're not that way inclined like myself, it's a massive hill to climb, and it just wears you down, but we'll keep trying. So anyway, that wasn't part of this video, but it is now. So let's go down to the bench and take a look at these figures. Right guys, whinge over with. I wouldn't call it a rant, but just, yeah, sorry about that. I'm just, as I say, it drags me down when things are so hard that other people find so blooming easy. Right, let's talk about some nice figures. Yeah, these are resin, both the foot figures and the cavalry figures. Mezzers provided the bases, and he will be basing them himself at some stage. I'll leave a link, hopefully, to Mezzers Minis, should you wish to go over and take a look. Thoroughly nice bloke. I've never had a problem when I've ordered stuff. You know, it's always punctual and well wrapped up, particularly, which I always like. And just nice guys to deal with. Avonpost, I think, do some fantastic figures. I'm really impressed. Yes, you can, whether you like resin or metal, there's usually, I can't obviously say off the top of my head, but usually they'll have both in their ranges, should you like them. But yeah, the base is MDF on the mounted figures, and 2 penny pieces on the foot figures. Again, they're just based over with black, and Mez will sort that out when he sees them. Right, the white there is a bit too big on the horse's eye. I might have to take that back. I'm just going for a light reflection there, so I'm not trying to show white. But so for somebody says they don't have big white eyeballs, no, they don't. But it's supposed to be light reflection. Reflection. I'm not sure. Non-metallic metal on all these. Again, it's my wargaming, I would say, standard non-metallic metal. I try and show different ways. It almost no figures exactly the same. The whole idea that I've gone with, you know, Mezzers left me free rein, really. That was a mistake. But yeah, every figure is slightly different, which is also taking time, because the armies of the era were really not 100% for maybe like bodyguards of royalty and whatever, but the hodgepodge units, you know, in the very early 1600s, even late 1590s, 1640s, you know, they really were civilians. I'm doing these, in my head, they are Spanish for the war in the Spanish Netherlands in the Low Countries. So I've given them a red headband just to tie them in, but they obviously can be anything. So again, when I say, oh, come on Gavin, let's find something to point with, and guarantee I won't have anything. Oh, I do, hang on a second. Right. So again, leather work, we've got a black scabbard. It's not all the same, because I'm quite sure that these guys, whether they were provided with a big heap of leather work and said, right, go and pick yourself out one of these, you know, or, you know, a sling for your sword and a scabbard and all this type of stuff, you know, they'd all be slightly different colours, you know, whatever they could procure off the dead on the battlefield. So yeah, that's our first horse. I do a couple of lines usually on the horse just to show a bit of rib cage. The colours are fairly subtle, so don't expect like loads of highlights. Well, there's lots of highlights in there, but they're quite subtle. That's the word I was trying to find. So that's our first mounted guy. Again, the horses I've tried to go, well, these by the way haven't been varnished. I'm waiting to do the last ones and then I'll varnish them all together. I've given this guy shiny lobster pot helmet and sword. Again, just doing different style, not so much styles, but different colours. I just wanted to show a real varied look to the guys. So I'm trying to as well the actual rank and file I'm doing in, you know, more dull type colours, if that makes sense. Trying to show they're not so rich. Come on, get in focus. Again, non-metallic, if any of the guys that don't obviously follow figure painting, it just replaces, let me point again, it just replaces using metallic paint. So you're using normal browns and yellows and whites and, you know, colours that you particularly want to use, and your substitute, and greys obviously for musket barrels and things like that, and you're substituting those colours for the metallic, as if an artist would do it on a canvas. You know, you'll see or if you any of you again outside the figure loving community, you don't probably see Osprey. If you're into model cars, you're not into Osprey books, but Osprey books do lots of uniforms and things, and you'll see their artwork. You know, you won't see, obviously, because it's done by an artist with watercolors, whatever. You're not going to see metallic, so it's all inferred with greys, and like you can see here. We've gone a bit darker on that one. You can have that posed over his face if you wanted to. I just thought we'd have it pushed up, that you see often in some of the artworks. The dappling here was actually taken from a horse. I'm not saying I'm not sure the horse would have been too impressed at seeing himself painted like this, but it does represent, like the black up here and that, this does represent a horse that I'd seen online. If I remember, I'll put some photographs up at the end. Again, they wore a lot of leather, these leather jerkins as we later call them. They're the same type as they more or less would have worn in World War II and sometimes in the First World War. But yeah, they could wear them underneath the jacket. You could say, if you wanted to, that is the same colour as that, but I've gone for the more leather jerkin look. I prefer that look on them. And I've tried to again change the colours of those. You know, that they literally went from a light buff to a darker colours. Now I'll just reach over. This guy's although he's a sergeant by the look of him, as far as I'm aware, sergeants at that period weren't as low ranked, if that makes sense. They were quite well off. It was a rank to aspire to before you could move up, because obviously a lot of the times people have to buy commissions and things, so you could start off in this rank, I believe. So again, red sashes and stuff just to show the Spanish colours at the time. I don't know if I can get any closer without making him look ridiculous. So he's gone with a greeny blue look, almost a turquoisey type look. You get the brighter highlights. Well, I do anyway. I just highlight before I put any colours on, apart from the primer. Over the primer, I'll put white, and you know, it'll give you a brighter highlight underneath your paint, as long as your paint's not too heavy. The only thing with this guy was there was a slight, you can see there, I put some filler in, not brilliantly, but to be honest with you, it does blend in enough. There was a slight divot in his elbow. Now, whether I've not gone looking online to see exactly if I've posed them right, but I've just gone with wherever the arm felt naturally to fit in the socket. So I'm not 100% sure if that is on all figures or not, or if I've just not positioned it right, but I'm happy with that. I've gone for the lighter jerkin here. Again, it just goes off with the colours a bit better. We've got an artilleryman here. Got him glancing off to the side. I've left the, I mean, you can paint socks, stockings, whatever you want to call them, but socks we'll call them. I've gone with a bare-legged on this one. You might have lost them in a game of dice, or they were just all busted up, and he's not bothered getting some more. Again, we've gone for a darker look on the jerkin there. So that's our artillery. Now the other guys, you'll have to bear with me, they're not finished yet. It'll probably take me till the end of the week to get these done now. I've swung back into doing my Napoleonic commission, but these will get done by the end of the week, and then I've got, as I say, the 3 to do. You see still a lot to be finished, and some highlights like on the socks, that's just a base coat, and the feathers in that still need more work. Feedback from Mezza, we've got feedback from Avonpost, told me that the the fork at the top there for the rest of the musket was, I'd been painting them metal and they were actually wood. So I didn't realise. So I've got to go back and paint a couple of those out. Gone with a light one here. I put Russian green for the I'll call them trousers. I've put in some of the same reds that I've used on the jacket. I've glazed those down a bit more and then just put them into the shadows. Sometimes you don't have to go from using, you don't have to have a bottle of dark green, a bottle of mid green and a bottle of light green. Sometimes if you just think out the box a bit, you think, well, reds shade green, so if you've got reddy type colours on your palette, then just, if you're not using it anymore, just put some aside, water it down more, and then just put it into your shadow areas. And then I've added, again, what I've got on my palette, I'd added buff that I'd used on his jacket and some of the other ones, and I put, well, it wasn't buff, but a light type colour, and then just put that into the Russian uniform green, or Russian green, because that's actually a tank green I've used on that from AK. Still working on the red on the seams there. I put the red on just as just to show a bit of red theme. The sling there for the sabre, that's still a work in progress. What I'll normally do is put some lighter colours on, like these, and then work in some very thin paint over the top, just so they're not so stark. I'll do actually on those ones. I've just remembered what I was going to do last night and I'd stopped doing it. I'll put I've got some wood grain yellow, and I water that down slightly and then put that over the top, and then in other highlight parts of the actual sling itself. We haven't done any of the metal work on, like the buckle there. Helmet that's the first coat, but it's going to be a black one. As I said on the previous ones I've done of these, they'd often black out the armour just to stop the rust as much as possible. So yeah, that's that guy. I will show this one, but it's I had some spare paint, so never let your paint, always use your paint if you can. So I had 2 lots of spare paint, so I love how they've got the socks ruckled down there, or stockings. I call them socks, but this guy will have the normal shiny-ish type armour. The only drawback I think on all these figures, which isn't Avonpost fault, I mean you don't have to put the feathers on, but these are, obviously they're super glued on and they can knock off quite easy. But if you're going to do them for, say, displays, I mean it's not a problem. I mean, you're not going to be wargaming them. But if you're using the metal figures and if they do come with things like that, you might be all right. But even still, they just stick up. That's all. You can catch them. I remember I'm remembering because I did one on the previous painting, and I must have knocked that off at least 3 times. I just didn't want to put it on separate because I didn't want to start getting glue around my paintwork, so it has to go on next. So yeah, he's got to go on. Obviously he's going to have a pike. I haven't painted the pikes yet. In fact, I forgot to primed them all and left the pikes were right in front of me, and as usual I left them. So they're going to need to, next time I get some primer sorted, they're going to have to be primered. So let's just put one of our guys on here where I'm just round up. I don't know which is the best way to look at him. But yeah, lovely figures. As I say, I'm quite attracted to the 30-Year War, mainly because I like as a painter, you're not painting a set uniform. There's lots of variants, and I grew up and I've got them all on DVD of the Musketeer films. I love all that, and I'm not 100%, but I swear they do Musketeers. But yeah, so we're looking at, obviously these guys are going to be varnished. They've got to be finished off this batch here. I've got 2 more to paint up. Probably won't be till the weekend or next week now, by the time these guys are done. and then I'll do one under the camera, providing Gav on his pre-video moan there can sort of work out how to speed things up a bit more for you guys. As I say, I understand. I mean, this Voltigeur, which I'll be painting later on in the week, I'm even going to try and just get the face and the crossbow belts done, just because it's going on forever. So I'd really like him done and dusted, get a base on him and get him say he's done. Then I've got a Vietnam figure, as I've said, to do one of these Avonpost 30 year war figures as well. So there's plenty of, if you're into your 28 mils and whatever, there's plenty of that going on. I've also got, I'm painting some 1 in 35 figures for just as a I'm not getting paid for them, let's put it that way. For Jason over at Scale Model Stuff, I'm doing his Tiger Tank crew for him, and I'll be getting onto those, or at least one of them, one of the three, later on sometime in the week. As I say, it's just drips and drabs. That type of stuff has to go when I've got 5 minutes to do it, which isn't very often. But what I'm trying to say is I'm going to be doing a 1 in 35 scale, one of the Tiger Tank crew as well under the camera. And we'll just see how they go from there. So thanks guys, thanks for indulging yet another. It's supposed to be just a show and tell, and it's turned into a rambly moan. But as I say, I'm just getting a bit, I keep trying and try and making these videos a bit better, and I keep falling flat on my face, and it's getting a bit tiring now. But we shall do it. We shall get there. As they say, are you not entertained? Well, not really at the moment, but one day you will be. Right, look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other soon. As I say, go check Mez out, Mezzers Minis. Yes, I'm saying it again, and I'll put a link to his site, and go check out what he's got on offer. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. As I say, I am a customer. I buy stuff off Mez, so and I'll be buying more in the future. As I say, he'll give out money in commission and probably take it back over the next year as it comes back to him. Still, yeah, if you're into Napoleonics, 30-year wars, I think they've got Vikings, you name it. He's got quite a stock of that type of stuff, and I've already seen a couple of other figures I fancied having a go on. So as I say, I will be at some stage later on in the year putting another order in. Look after yourselves, guys, and we'll speak soon.